Hey Flosstube, Ashley here, Buggy Stitcher on YouTube, Shleezum_Buggy Stitcher on Instagram, coming to you guys with another whip update. This week and a half, I have done a ton of counted cross stitching, more so than my stamps, which is the first time in a while. But yeah, so we have lots to show you guys. We have my stitching plan changes. Papa, what are you doing? No dumping, please. We have plans to my stitching, changes to my stitching plans. We also have some new purchases. I'll explain here in a little bit. And so let's just go ahead and get started. Okay, only 1 minute in and everyone's losing their minds. All right, let's go ahead and just get into it. So first things first, let's talk about the change of my stitching plans. So I had a rule about no new purchases, and I decided to go ahead and change that for the one exception, and that is for the stitching for Ukraine. So I decided to get a couple of patterns from several different Ukrainian designers to try and help support, and I thought that was a great idea. So I do have some new starts and new purchases. That is my only exception to the rule though, so now I'm back to no new purchases. I also changed my main whip stash. So I tend to change my main whip stash every I don't know, month and a half to 2 months, and it was about that time I was starting to grow bored of what I was working on. So there are several projects that are staying in the main whip stash, but there's some new ones in here now as well. So let's go ahead and just get started. So first off, we have my fairy, my fairy mom. Just kidding, it's my mom's. But that's where we are. I had to switch over to a hoop. I had this one in a Q-snap, but because I'm so close to the edge and this is like a bad edge for me, I switched it. So I switched it to a hoop, and I basically just stitched all of this this time around. So we're getting there. I also, because it's on this side and I am I guess right-handed stitcher, but I use my left hand on top because I'm double-handed. So yeah, so I technically stitch with my left hand on top. I find it easier to switch it upside down and stitch this way. So instead of looking at it like this, I have to turn it like this and stitch up and down like that. So I find that easier for me, not only because of how close I am to this edge, but also this top part is super heavy. So it's easier to roll it up and have it in my lap than it is at the top of my hoop. So anyway, there's that one. Last time I forgot to show my Betta lion. So I did stitch some of the Betta lion last time, not this time, but I figured I'd show you guys just in case since I forgot. So I stitched this one only until I can see the betta fish. Here we go, we got a little betta fish in there. So that's as far as I got. But I just had to see the fish, and his name is Squishy, off of my betta fish that I used to have. So, sorry I forgot that one, but you know, I showed it this time. Are you dancing? All right, next up we have Mini Moon Charmer from Heaven Earth Designs. Make sure you stay over there, please. Okay, you singing? Mini Moon Charmer. I got a fair bit done on this one this time. So remember, I was stitching this full cross on 16 count, 2 strands. I decided to switch that to 10 stitch 4 strands? Yeah, 4 strands. There's not much more above this. It's just like right here. Well, I guess I can just take this top snap off. There we go. Looking pretty good. We got a tree in there. I still love this pattern. It's still one of my favorites. hanging threads everywhere. Here we go. All right, there's that one. This is like a zip package. You dancing? All right, next up we have Mini Realm of Enchantment. My mom started a new pattern that had a horse in it, so I told her if she started that one, I would stitch this one a little bit with her. So this one came out for a visit. And I just concentrated on trying to fill in a bunch of the stitches. There we go. So I got a bunch right here, and I filled all this in. There's only a couple of, there's like 3 stitches right there, a couple stitches right there, but I mean it's significantly more filled in than it was. I stitched on 18 count, Ada. 3 over 1/10 stitch. It was nice to work on some of these counted. I was really feeling counted cross stitching this time. Next up we have Mini Morning Blue. This beauty. She's beautiful. I didn't stitch too much on it. I got, I think, about 150 stitches since last time I showed you. Not too shabby so far. This one's stitched on the 18 count Ada that I got from AliExpress, which is actually 19 count, so it's not my favorite. But I have a ton of it on hand. Next up, I got Lord of the Rings stamped kit. It's 11 count. Gotta move my needle minder here. Here we go. We finished Gandalf. He's looking pretty good. He's got his little staff right here that I'm filling out, and then right down here is one of the hobbits. So yeah, so again, close up for stamp kits, not very good. Far away, it actually looks like a wizard. So stay over there, please. Stay over there, please. All right, next up we got the owls. My watercolor owls. And this one. Look at that! I got a face that was completely filled in. I think there's only like 1 stitch right here that's like missing from the eyebrow. Other than that, the face is completely filled in. And then I filled in some of the background stitches up here. Again, it's really hard to see on stamp kits, so I'll show you the back. So that's what I did. Super cute.
Super cute.
Okay, next up we have one of my watercolor girls. This is what I call Peony Girl. It doesn't have a very good photo, so I'll do my best to show. She is. I stitched a fair bit on her this time. I decided since we're just about to do a giveaway, we're so close. It's like 973, I think. So as soon as I get to 1,000, I will go ahead and make that drawing and announce the winner. But I found it fitting that I start working on one of the watercolor girls. That I start working on one of the watercolor girls since I'm just about to give away a watercolor girl. So there we go. I basically just stitched this entire background. So a fair bit for me on stitching. Stay over there, please, and leave mommy's headset alone. All right, next up we have Hogwarts emblem. Yeah, Hogwarts emblem. Stay over there, please. There's this one. It's beautiful. I love it. And again, I'm leaving off all the black on the outside, but leaving the black on the inside to make the emblem pop. Need a huggy? Okay. All right, so absolutely love the Hogwarts emblem. And you can tell because I've stitched on it a fair bit. Oh, you know, mine's like right in the middle. Just kidding. Just kidding. There we go. It's looking so good. So from afar, there we go. That's what it'll look like on the wall, basically. So it's looking really good. What is it about? Anyway, I'm absolutely loving this one. It's turning out so good, and yeah, definitely one of my favorites. All right, next up we'll do Generation 1 Pokemon. Yay, Pokemon! We're a Pokemon family. Here we go. I didn't get a ton done. I think I got 150 stitches. 150, somewhere around there. There we go. So I started stitching some of the Fire Eevee's head and ear right here. So it's sparkly. You can't tell, but it is sparkly. Looking pretty good. Daisy, get back in your bed. Bed. Alright, next up we have the deer chapel that I got for my husband for my birthday. Yeah. This is one of my traveling pieces. I take it when I'm out running errands. So not too much change. I stitched maybe about 30 stitches in the tree. Not a ton. I didn't run a bunch of errands. We're trying not to run around everywhere because of gas prices. So, but not too shabby. All right, next up we have the cottage, and it is in the frame. I'm not going to take it out of the frame because you guys just recently saw like the whole thing in my last video. So I'm just going to show you guys where I'm at right now. So I basically filled in all this grass right here. And I think that's all I did. So there's like some stitches right in here and then the grass. That's what I did. So not a ton. But still, I am still absolutely loving this one. It's beautiful. I can't wait to have it on my wall and to get started on the other cottage. Yes, can't wait to start stitching the other one. And I'm super excited to start seeing these pebbles. That's what these light little like marks are. It's the pebble pathway. So I'm super excited, or the stone pathway in the grass. So. Oh, it just looks so good. This is absolutely one of my favorite ones. Super excited. The only thing is like this on this big stand that I made though, so it's like inconvenient to show because it's huge, but I guess I'll just set it right here. All right, next up was my big stitching, my big stitcher. I stitched 13,000 stitches on this in one day. It was insane. It's the stitching shelf. So I'm stitching this with a Emma, a stitching buddy of mine. And she's stitching the top row. Okay, then you can come out. She's stitching the top row and she's like to the hourglass right here. I started stitching this part and then I was like, no, I'm gonna stitch it by season. So I came all the way down here and now I'm stitching this part right here. This like book. That's like the front of the book is like right here, and then you have the tree and then my first stitching girl. And so I almost made it to her face. Ta-da! Sorry, there's strings everywhere, but look Look at that. It's almost completely filled in. I think I only have maybe about, no, I guess it's only halfway filled in. I thought there was more filled in than that, but it's only halfway. But really it's only about 5 or 6 colors in there that needs filled in. There's just a lot of bulk because they're all the same colors of the title of the book. But this is her head. Right in here is her head, and then he has like a white shadow around her head. So yay, we're getting there. It's starting to look like something, and just in time too, because like it's almost spring, and then I'm gonna have to go back up and start stitching spring. But I was super proud of myself for stitching this and stitching this much on it. It's not very often that I get a stitch like that on a counted or anything in general, so it felt really good to stitch on it. Next up we have my Book Girl. So this is let's see. Yeah. Book Girl, Book Girl. I think it's called Mini Book Fairy or Mini Fairy Book by Nadia Strelkin from Heaven Earth Designs. And I'm right up here. So I've done this part of the castle and I'm working on the horn and her face. I'm so close to getting her nose, everybody. So close. This is a very beautiful pattern. It's just on 28 count, so I really have a really hard time stitching on it sometimes, but I'm trying to be better. And there's a ton of confetti in this thing too. You'll see by all the hanging threads. Look at all this. Oh, there's so many threads there. But let me take the needle minder off. There we go. We got the castles completely filled in, and I'm just about to stitch her nose. And we got the horn starting to appear. I didn't notice that until I started looking at it right now. We got clouds, horn, almost got her nose. And then soon after the horn is going to be the wing of the dragon, which will be really fun to stitch. I'm stitching this one for the tag March of the Sea tag, which is like a March event. Try and get everyone more upbeat instead of so sad. Natalie is hosting the hashtag. I'll post the hashtag in the video. Actually, no. I'll post the hashtag down below. Otherwise, there's more editing. There's that. Okay, next up we have a very oldie. So, my very first stamped kit was this Silk Lion. This girl right here. Lioness. And so I was looking to see when I started this because it feels like, okay, it feels like I've had this pattern forever and it's just been sitting in a corner. Gung, 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 gung. What? That's just, you just gotta pretend to fix your car. Fix your scooter. It feels like I've had this thing forever. And I actually haven't. I looked to see when I got this, and I actually got it March 30th of last year. So it's not even a year old yet. It's almost a year old, but it's not quite a year old yet. So it made me feel good that it's not as old as I thought it was. Papa, you don't need any help, Pups. What do you need help with? Anyway, so it made me feel good that it wasn't as old as I thought it was. But I also got excited to work on it because I have been getting a lot of questions about silks lately. And I'm not the biggest fan of silk. It's really hard to stitch for me because I'm a mindless stitcher. I like to mindlessly just kind of stitch and shut my brain off. And silk you kind of have to pay attention to. But it encouraged me to work on this by talking about it. And I do love it. It's just huge. See all the blue? All the blue symbol is $9.39, my nemesis color. So yeah, it's a little tough. But this is what I've already had this done. So what I stitched is the eye. So I started stitching the lioness's eye to see what that looked like. And it's honestly looking really good. So I'm gonna keep this one out. This one is in my main web stash now. And and see what the back looks like. There's the back. There's the back of the eye. I have not clipped the ends of the eye yet. I just did it yesterday. There you go. Did you get the tool out of your scooter? You did? Don't put it back in there. Okay, I have 2 more to show this time. And the 2 new ones are new starts. So, let's see. This one is Alice in Alice in the Clock is what I'm calling it. I'll go ahead and post a picture of it right here with the shop name. So this is a Ukrainian designer, and I decided that I was going to be stitching this with a friend. So we are stitching this together, and that's what I got so far. Beautiful pattern so far. We were able to get it into Pattern Keeper. It has blended threads. It has blended threads, and it also has 10 stitch or half stitch as well. So for those stitches, we just put as the second color half, so that way we knew what colors were supposed to be half stitches versus full stitches. There's that one. And then my other new start, and last to show you, is Dreamcatcher Dragon. And I'll go ahead and post the picture and the designer name right here. So again, a Ukrainian designer, a very talented Ukrainian designer, because I absolutely love the artwork. This is where I've got to so far. It's looking great so far. I haven't done any of the back stitching. I have 1 more color to fill in the jewel right here, and then I could technically do back stitching, but I think I'm gonna wait to do the back stitching until last. I tend to do that anyway because it's easier. You kind of get in a rhythm instead of stopping the back stitching to do more stitches. So that's what we did. And here's the back. I haven't clipped this yet. Yeah. This one I'm stitching on 14 count Ada. Oh, and Alice is 16 count Ada. So, looking really good. You fixed it? Yeah. Awesome. And that's all the stitching that I have. So I will go ahead. I think I'll, let's see, what do I do? I think I'll just tell you guys the names of my new whip stash. If you guys want to see a picture, I can do like a secondary post or something with all the pictures of my new main whip stashes. But let me find my journal here. It's buried. Later. Well, maybe I can find my journal. All right, got my journal. So I wrote down the new whip change. So we got the Cottage, the Peony watercolor girl that I showed, the Silk Lion, the Alice Clock, Dreamcatcher Dragon, Owls, the Book Girl, Stitching Shelf, Mini Moon Charmer, and Hogwarts. So those are all the ones that made the list this month. And then I'm still allowed to stitch. Sorry, excuse me. I'm still allowed to stitch whatever I feel like it on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So those are my days to basically go crazy and stitch all the things, which is why I have so many things to show you all the time. So on the weekends I go insane. But yeah, I already fixed it for you. There you go. All fixed. All fixed. Anyway, so that's it to show you all. yeah, we're so close to 1,000 subscribers. I'm super excited to be able to send out the Watercolor Girl and see who won it. I'm so excited. I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to search out the comment name, and then I'll assign each person a number on an Excel spreadsheet, and then I'll just do like a drawing. Yeah, I think. Or like a wheel or something. I don't know. I'll figure out what to do, and I want to record drawing the winner so everyone gets to see, because I think that'd be kind of fun. Sorry. Oh man, the yawning has returned. Anyway, I hope you all have a fabulous day. I will post all the hashtags that I have mentioned in this video, also the Ukrainian designers that I've purchased from, and then in just a minute. And then if you guys want to see, guys and gals would like to see the new main whip, if you guys would like to see the main whip stash pictures of the patterns that I mentioned, then I would be happy to share. Yeah, if you all have any questions, send me an email or send me a comment or message me on Instagram. I'm happy to talk or answer or show you guys whip updates. And yeah, I really appreciate all of you. Welcome if you're new, welcome if you're returning, and I hope you all have a fabulous stitching weekend. Bye!